What's up? Today we'll explore the 5 ways in which AI and software will change the structural engineering industry. Structural engineers play a crucial role in the design and construction of everyday structures such as buildings and bridges. They engineer these structures so they're safe and stable during earthquakes and heavy winds. But with the rise of artificial intelligence and software, will there be a need for structural engineers in the future? So let's jump into it. Item number 1, structural engineers are going to be able to do more with less. Software such as building information modeling or BIM or even finite element analysis software are already being used in the structural engineering industry. These programs can quickly and accurately analyze structures and their structural behavior, as well as helping engineers in their workflows. This allows engineers to perform calculations much quicker and analyze different structural options, different structural systems in less time. Does this mean the AI and software will replace the structural engineer? Not necessarily. The way I see it playing out in the future is that the structural engineer will be the Tony Stark when making the Iron Man suit. Tony Stark's the master engineer, and he has Jarvis, his AI assistant, do a lot of the calculations and different options and testing for his designs. He's not the one going in the calculator and doing it. It's the AI that's helping him do the calculations and optimize the design. Software and AI will still be tools of the structural engineer. The structural engineer will still be the designer, the one that's making the big decisions. So does this mean we'll have less engineers in the future? Maybe, maybe not. I think the role of the structural engineer will have to change and we'll have to adapt. And we'll go over that in number 4 later on in the video. Number 2 on how AI and software will affect the structural engineering industry is that we're going to have more crazy structures. You know the ones that I'm talking about, the super complex projects, the landmark structures that have you going, what were the architects thinking when they come up with this stuff? And they sometimes have you wondering, how is that structure even standing? Many of those complex structures wouldn't be possible without the automation, without the finite element software that we have. Is this good for the structural engineering industry? I think there's 2 sides to it. The first side is, yeah, we have the software that can do this complex stuff and we can do amazing complex structures. But the other side of it is, do we need to do structurally complex structures? I think there's elegance in designing something that's simple, even though it's complex, such as maybe the Burj Khalifa that looks super complex, but you can simplify it down to a buttress sheer core. Basically, you can imagine yourself when there's heavy winds and you have an umbrella. The reason you're not falling over is because you have your leg extended out, and that's preventing you from falling down or getting blown over by the wind. But what if it's too complex? When you get these crazy angles and whatnot, and you're solely relying on the structural engineering software to tell you if it's good or bad. When it gets so complex that it gets to the point where your engineering judgment is even telling you that, I don't know if this will work, but let's rely on the engineering software to tell us if it does. I mean, at that point, then you are just blindly relying on the software to design for you. Which brings us to number 3. There's going to be a shift from knowing how to do crazy complex equations to going back to the basics of structural engineering. It's going to be even more critical to know your basics such as statics, free body diagrams, shear and moment diagrams, mechanics of materials, and most importantly, I think, the behavior of materials. Why? Because of the evolution of software. The calculations get so complex that you're not going to be checking it by hand. The software does the calculations, and you're supposed to make sure that those calculations are right. So how do you do that? It's by going back to the basics. Is the structure behaving correctly or as expected? So if you're a structural engineering student or a new structural engineer, one of the worst things that you can do is get into some finite element software, get your analysis, get the input, and you tell your manager that software is good. Then your manager asks you, how do you know that's right? And all you can do to back it up is, well, that's what the software told me. That's one of the worst responses and scary responses that you can give. Because at that point, you are just blindly relying on software without any back checks, without any quick hand calculations to get a preliminary design, and then you get the software to give you the final design. They should be close. And number 4 on our list is that structural engineers will need to adapt. With AI and software doing a lot of the automated design, this will allow structural engineers to do more creative, important things. And this can go in a lot of different directions, and here are a couple things that I thought of. There might be a bigger role the structural engineer can play in the preliminary design phase. Software can help with studying different systems, such as going with a concrete structure, steel structure, a wood structure, different types of column layouts, wall layouts. These options can be provided in a quicker timeline. Another one might be that structural engineers are doing more of the structural modeling, making finite element analysis models. Or you might have a bigger emphasis on structural analysts, the ones that are making sure that the model is working correctly, that the results it's giving are reasonable. Detailers and connection specialists might be a thing, since software and AI can't replace that too easily. Or maybe you might have construction support specialists, because software can't adjust to the field that quickly. And a human being is a lot quicker to look at a picture or go out into the field, see what the problem is, and come up with a unique solution to fix it. You also might see a rise in structural engineering generalists, the ones that aren't experts, but they're pretty good at different types of materials and building systems, because since they have software helping them out in their design and calculations, they have more time to study and become experts at different types of materials and building types. I also think you'll see a rise in structural engineers that know how to code, program, and know computer science. Because as automation becomes more important, so will people that know how to code and program. I'm seeing it as the next Excel. Engineers used to know how to use Excel because it helped them so much with their productivity. Coding and programming with all of these different types of softwares, knowing how to get into the API and write scripts to help automation, I think that's going to be a lot more valuable. So I do recommend learning the basics of programming to become a more valuable engineer. But I know what you're thinking. Matt, I'm so busy, I don't have time to learn programming. I don't even know where to start. It's so difficult. Well, that's because you haven't checked out today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. Brilliant is my favorite way to level up my math, science, and computer science skills because of their visual, interactive approach to teaching. Look, I've been meaning to learn coding basics myself, particularly Python for the structural engineering software that I use. But yeah, who has the time? But once I started Brilliant's Programming with Python course, it was so easy to learn because it made learning fun. For example, even if you've never learned how to code before, they guide you through the lessons step by step, breaking things down into understandable parts with simple explanations. One of my favorite things about Brilliant is that their lessons are so interactive. You're learning by doing. It feels as if I'm just solving puzzles in a video game and I'm engaged the entire time. And before I knew it, I was already debugging Python code. I'd much prefer that rather than sitting in a classroom or reading an entire book about the theory of Python programming. And Brilliant isn't just limited to computer science or programming courses either. They have over 70 courses that you can use to elevate your STEM skills, such as scientific thinking, calculus in a nutshell, and logic. And they have thousands of lessons with new ones added every month. To get started for free, visit brilliant.org/MattPicardal or click on the link in the description below. And the first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Let's get back to the video. I think engineers that have soft skills such as project management or talking to clients, coordinating with architects and different types of people, I think those engineers are going to be even more valuable as software and AI progress, because that's something that software can't really do. And let's face it, talking to people and bringing in business, bringing in new projects, that's the lifeline of a structural engineering firm. It's still going to be a people-to-people, person-to-person interaction, making those relationships with the architects, the contractors, and the stakeholders even more important. And number 5, structural engineering will be a commodity with a question mark. And I say it like that because it's going to depend on us as the structural engineering industry. It's going to depend on how we as an industry adapt to AI and software. If we just market it as something that, hey, we can do more with less because we have some new software and we're charging the same amount of fees for it, that might not be the best idea. From talking to some of the older generations of structural engineers, back in the day when they didn't have all this fancy software, you'd have more time to work on your designs and the architect wouldn't change their designs as much. But now with the technology, we can change things on the fly and update our models a lot quicker, but that doesn't mean there's less work. I think it sometimes adds more work having all this technology. Sometimes you'll have software errors that takes more time to debug, coordination mistakes because all the designs are changing constantly, and workflow delays because you have to go through 14 steps to update your building model. And I think that's contributed to the faster, more work, because our clients think we can work that fast, and sometimes we can, but it doesn't mean that we should do that type of work for the same amount of fees. If our industry was the software industry, we'd charge more if we were adding more features to our product. We'd also be charging monthly subscription fees for our services, but I don't know how that'll go yet. I think as an industry, we just have to show our clients how we add value by using this type of software. And at the end of the day, AI and software will not replace the structural engineer, at least hopefully not anytime soon, because engineering judgment, that's going to be hard to replace. Thanks for watching and making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you next time.